Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy LMac11. Welcome back to another video. 2 in 1 week. Who would have thought it? Today, I'm going to be going back to my series, A Random 20-Year-Old's Thoughts on Blank. And today, I'm going to be talking about something that I would say is very personal to me, anxiety. Now, when I say personal to me, I don't mean that I'm the only human that has anxiety. I'm sure a lot of people do. But let me make it known, I have experienced anxiety my entire life about many different things. And I thought in today's video, I'd kind of break down a lot of different aspects of anxiety and kind of give my thoughts on it and how to deal with it, because I know a lot of people deal with it. It's one of the most common mental health conditions. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing to say, I think the thing that would make the most sense is for me to talk about my own personal experience with anxiety. This might be quite a long video because I could say a lot about the topic of anxiety, but so I have always been anxious. I remember, like, when I was a kid, I got what you would call separation anxiety from my parents. So like it became really bad when I was in like year 6, where like if I was at school, I would like fear like what if my parents like die and I'm like screwed and like I don't know what I'm gonna do, stuff like that. At the time I was reading the book series, a series of unfortunate events, and obviously the parents in that die at the start. And I think that just really plagued on my mind because I've always been quite an imaginative, creative person. So my brain went to these kind of scenarios, and yeah, it just caused like a lot of anxiety. I remember like I used to think like when I'd hear them talking downstairs and I was like meant to be in bed asleep, but I was like on my iPad watching YouTube. I used to hear them downstairs talking, and I would think like, what if like it's a tape recording and it's not actually them and they've like gone away? And then it didn't help that I'd watched YouTube videos where it was like kids calling like 911 in America, being like, "Oh, my parents are dead" or whatever. Like, I just freaked myself out. I don't know why. Like, so that's like the first thing I remember being really anxious about. I'm sure I had it when I was like younger, but I don't really remember as well. But as time went on, it kind of moved on to different things, stuff to do with my appearance. So I remember in secondary school, like I was really like insecure about stuff like weight and height and like my hair and like my face and like all these things, because again, when you're a teenager, obviously anxiety like increases naturally because you're going through puberty. But yeah, and a lot of this stuff like still stuck for quite a while after school as well, but school was kind of when it was sort of brought on. And then I remember in college, like I'd have like anxiety about like what people thought about me, and like, oh, do people like secretly hate me? Like, oh, what's my place in this world? All these kind of questions, right? And like worrying about just like bullshit, to be completely honest with you. And the thing that it took me until basically when I'd finished college, or even when I like after I'd finished college, was to realize was, wait a minute, I don't even like half these people. Why do I care what they think about me? And then obviously going on into university, I got anxieties about all kinds of stuff. I've only this is a very vague timeline. Like I've had anxiety about like obviously very ultra specific things. Like for example, I had like an existential crisis when I was like 14. Because I realized I was gonna die, and I started like deeping that and like thinking about death every day. Like there's so many things to be anxious about in everyday life, and that's the problem with anxiety. It's kind of like a monster, yeah, that you can like just feed with your thoughts. Like I watched a TED talk the other night, and it was a woman talking specifically about OCD, and she was saying it's like a monster, and the more you think about stuff and all that, it feeds the monster. And it's the same with anxiety. Like you're feeding this thing in your head almost, that and the more you worry, the more you're giving it kind of time in your mind. Like what I mean, like your brain basically goes, I'm worried about this thing, even if it's the most insignificant thing. Your brain's like, I'm worried about this, and therefore it is important, so I'm going to keep thinking about it. So anxiety is this kind of debilitating thing, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize, especially those that don't have it. Everyone has it to some degree, I think, unless you're literally a psychopath, or something like that. But hang on a minute. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, just eating. Fun little fact in there. I thought I'd throw fun little fact in there is what I meant to say. I misspeak sometimes. I keep this shit in though because I think the non-edited aspect of these videos is great. But yeah, the thing is with anxiety, right, is that like you can always feed it. It's this thing that's it's basically never ending. Like you could just always be worrying about something. and it can be like so insignificant, but like to you it feels so important in that moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, worrying like about getting like a ultra specific like disease. So like you could be like, oh, what if I get this disease that 7 people in the history of the world have had, or what if I get this, or what if I get that. Do you know what I mean? You can go through so many different like thoughts and rabbit holes with this stuff, and my mum calls it thought spiraling, which is a really good point, because that's what it is. You're going down this kind of spiral of thoughts, and it gets really, really negative really, really quickly, and it stresses you out. And because it stresses you out, your brain goes, right, that's important. So I think the first thing to say about anxiety is what it actually is and how debilitating it was. That's what I was saying. Sorry, I sometimes forget my thought patterns, but I don't want to sit here umming and ahhing. So I try and like go back to what I can remember saying. Do you know what I mean? Memory's a very interesting thing. I should probably make a video about that. But anyway, obviously anxiety is a very debilitating thing, and people don't realise it. Like, a lot of people that know me probably wouldn't think, oh, Elmac's like this anxious person. Like, they wouldn't. They think, they think of me, whatever they think of me, really. But they wouldn't necessarily go to, oh, he's worrying about stuff, and that's kind of just because I'm good at hiding it, like masking it, because I think when you have anything, you tend to hide it, especially when it's, something like anxiety. Like, I could hypothetically sit and show my anxiety all the time, but I've learned to not. It's just how humans work. We learn to adapt and learn to like hide certain things, because we're like, well, is there any benefit to sharing it? Now, obviously, it's very important to share your feelings with trusted people. I'm talking more about like people that know me, not necessarily like my closest friends who I speak to about what's going on in my head. But even then, there's probably still stuff I don't speak about, because you don't need to share everything. And I think oversharing is a problem. I think it's very important to share, and it's better to overshare than undershare, especially when you're dealing with a lot of heavy stuff. But I think a lot of people do just share far too much information, and it's like, I didn't need to know that. TMI, like, for real, like, it's just way too much. But yeah, the thing is with anxiety, people don't realize how much it affects you. Especially the people that don't really experience it to the same degree or at all, they don't understand like how like fucked it is. Like, for example, like going and doing something simple like having a job and going into work can be this really stressful thing. Or going outside and going for a walk, like in your head it can feel like this huge thing, this big deal, and you're like really stressing about it. And then you do it and you realise it's not so bad. And that's kind of part of how to get over anxiety almost, is to do things, to get out of your comfort zone. That is literally what you have to do. You have to go, this thing causes me anxiety, so therefore I'm going to do it on purpose to prove this is not worth causing me anxiety. And it is natural to get nervous about things. Like, for example, if I was to hop on a stage and perform in front of 50,000 people, I'm going to fucking be like retching in the toilet. Like, of course I am. I'm going to be fucking shitting myself. But getting anxious about going to work or going here or going there, like very small, like in the grand scheme of things, quite like small things, but in your head feel massive, that stuff isn't worth stressing about to the same degree, like, at all. And it's a shame that so many people kind of put down anxiety. I feel like it's very common nowadays for people to go, oh, well, just don't worry about it, like, it's not that serious. Like, oh, what are you even worried about? You live this great life, whatever. And it's like, yeah, but that's not the point. When it comes to any mental illness of any capacity, it's not just, oh, well, my life's all right, so therefore, I can't worry about stuff. It's not, or, I can't feel depressed, or I can't struggle with mania, or whatever it might be that you have. That's such stupid logic. Like, it makes no sense. That's like saying someone that has like schizophrenia going, oh, well, your life's fine. Like, you're not in a war zone or anything. So like, what's going on? Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, they can't help it. You wouldn't say it to them. Or it's like, probably a better example, using something that isn't even mental health. Cancer. You wouldn't go up to someone that has, a type of cancer and go, oh, well, your life's pretty good. Like, why you got to like, have cancer and like complain about it? It's like, well, what the fuck are you on about? Like, obviously that's going to be something that's going to affect somebody. And it's the same with mental health conditions. The only difference is they don't have tangible things you can see, apart from if someone is like visibly having a panic attack or an episode or something. Do you know what I mean? But like, people don't realize this as well about anxiety. This is another point to make. Symptoms. Anxiety makes you think you're dying constantly, and I mean that. Like, I've gone through some really weird physical experiences because of anxiety. Like, your legs feeling like jelly, your chest feels tight, you don't feel real, like you feel like you're not able to get a proper breath in, you get heart palpitations, you get headaches, you get You get literally so many things like lightheadedness, dizziness, like all kind, like literally any symptom you can think of. Anxiety will cause upset stomach, throwing up, diarrhea. Like, I'm not saying I've gone through every single one of these things like all the time, but the point is, like, they are things that people with anxiety are all too familiar with, and it's a shame that people kind of put people with anxiety down and go, oh, it's not that deep, is it? It's like, well, yes, it is, because it's affecting your daily life and your mental health. And your mental health is as important as any of your other health, spiritual, physical. It's all just as important as each other. Like, you can't sit there and act like, oh, one's more important than the other. Do you know what I mean? Especially when your mental health affects your physical health, and also vice versa. Like, when I remember when I had the flu, I was really miserable. Partly because I got it, like, I had it on my birthday, which sucked, but also because it just sucks. Like, you feel like crap and you can't do anything. So yeah, this is another thing. Like, people that say, oh, anxiety, oh, it's nothing, it's just worrying about stuff. It's like, no, it's so much more than that. So I think people really need to understand this more. And I know this isn't a very structured video, and maybe people thought I was going to give my thoughts on anxiety in like a scientific kind of way. But like, I'm just going to sit here and speak about my experience and kind of talk about stuff that I've learned through watching professionals speak. I'm not going to lie to you, I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. Pardon me, I don't know why. Pardon me. I don't want people to see me burp on the internet. It feels kind of gross. Hence why I look like I'm about to sneeze or hit a fucking dab. Anyway, that's so funny that's in there. Yeah, like, anxiety is very much a tangible thing. It's a huge deal in people that suffer with its lives, including myself. Like, it sucks. It really does. And I wish people would understand it more and have more empathy, because, like, why are you going to sit there and go, oh, it's not that deep, deal with it? Do you know what I mean? It's so stupid. But yeah, so first of all, anxiety is like this monster that you feed every day with your thoughts, which you can control, but only to a certain extent. It has like physical symptoms that affect you. Panic attacks are horrible. I wouldn't want to have a panic attack again. They are bad. Like, they are not fun. And also another thing that I think I already made a point of, but just to really make this clear, it can be about anything. It can literally be about anything. Like, I had it earlier where I started getting discombobulated because I was thinking about life and how weird it is, and like, what is the alternative to life? Like, we exist, we look the way we do, we exist in the way we do. Like, what would happen if we didn't? Like, what would it be like? Do you know what I mean? Just like, and I think it's like an obsession thing almost. Like, when I was younger, I had obviously that existential crisis with death. I became very kind of, it was almost like a fascination, but like a scared fascination. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of the same thing that I think a lot of people have with space, including myself, where it's like really interesting, but it's really scary as well. You don't want to think about it too much. But yeah, it's mental, like the world that we live in and stuff. And that's the thing with anxiety. Like, you could have nothing to worry about. You could have no stress. You're chilling. You're getting on with your stuff, whatever. And it's thoughts like that get into your mind. And it's like your brain's almost trying to find something to worry about. And it's like, if you're not worried, then you're like bored. And then you feel like kind of down. It's like a lose-lose. You can't win. So the next thing to say about is, well, what are my thoughts on the kind of treatments for it? There's a lot of different methods and stuff. So first of all, I have never taken an SSRI in my life, so I can't sit here and act like I'm some kind of expert on them. Like, I'm really, really not. I don't have a clue. I'm not going to pretend I have a clue, because I think it would be stupid to. However, from what I believe, is that I don't think you should take medicine for your brain. It's a weird one, because I understand it has a lot of benefits to people, and I'm not denying that. And people, please let me know down in the comments, because I'm not an expert. I've never taken an SSRI. But my problem is that I think taking stuff for your brain, as in not like you have like headaches, so you take a painkiller. I understand that. It's more like that alters your brain chemistry. I don't know. I feel weird about it. Maybe I'm just being like ultra traditional or whatever, and that's wrong, and fair enough. But I'm not for SSRIs. I think there's much better ways of going about it, whether it be like more natural remedies like maybe ashwagandha and stuff, or therapy. I think the number one solution to anxiety is talking therapy. Well, not talking therapy, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and ERP, exposure response prevention therapy. Those are the two that I would say are most important. Things with talking therapy, it's great if you don't really know what your problem is, but that's kind of all talking therapy is. It's just sitting around talking about your feelings, which is great, and a lot of more people should fucking do it. I'll tell you that for free. However, I don't think that it's good for anxiety. I think it's more if you're struggling generally and you need to work out what's going wrong. Also, I'm just going to take a sip of water because I'm like really thirsty. So we'll have a hydration break like the World Cup. I love water, man. That's another thing. Anyone, It says they don't like the taste of water, you are weird. Anyone that goes, oh, I'd rather drink Fanta or Coke, sort your life out. Why are you drinking fizzy drinks over water? Like, water is absolutely going to hydrate you 10,000 times more than any other drink. Like, I love water. I've always been a big water guy. I mean, anyway, that's a little tangent. But yeah, I think that talking therapy is great for some people, but not everyone. Whereas I think, what are we doing? Same for time. Okay, 15 minutes or just over. Cognitive behavioral therapy, the whole point is it's changing your behavior. I mean, cognitive is to do with the cogs turning in your brain. I don't know if that's the actual definition of the word cognitive, but that's how I see it. Behavioral therapy, changing your behavior, and it's therapy. Whereas exposure response prevention is specifically for OCD, but again, it's like making you face your fears kind of thing, basically. And that's the thing with anxiety. Anxiety monster, if we're using that kind of metaphor, it can only exist if you feed it. And if you don't feed it, then it withers away and dies. What a bit, sorry, I keep burping. Happened the other day when I was filming that rap video, actually. I burped like halfway through. It's so embarrassing. But I watched it back, and I realised I didn't even need to say that I'd burped because you wouldn't be able to tell. So, oh well. But yeah, if you don't feed the monster, then it can't really harm you in the same way. It doesn't get so big and doesn't consume your life, where you become this kind of mess and you can't do anything or you struggle to do things because you're worried about stuff. So that's what I think the solution to anxiety really is it's about fighting against it. But not like fighting against it as in like, grabbing it by the throat and going, yeah, fuck you, stupid prick. It's more like a thing of you don't feed that monster. And in turn, because of that, you are fighting it indirectly by not feeding into whatever it wants, which is, you to worry and all that kind of stuff. Sorry, I'm moving miles. I don't know why. I'm really bad on camera, like I don't really know what to do with myself. I'm not used to, and I'm also looking at myself. Like I'm not looking into the camera, I'm just looking at myself, which is pretty crazy. I also want to say, like, I do not look very good in these videos. Yeah, I'm not photogenic. I'll be honest. I'm with Travis Scott on that one. I'm not photogenic at all. I look way better in real life. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Such a stupid thing to say. Well, not stupid, but just it's very silly. I'm a very goofy guy, clearly. So that was really pick me. Anyway, yeah. So I think that the big thing with anxiety is not feeding into it. But yeah, so that's the kind of like main things to say about anxiety. Maybe say a few more kind of points to do with it. Like, it just sucks. I'll be honest with you, it sucks. It's the worst. It like even stuff that like should be like a bit of fun, like having a crush on somebody, right? I can't do crushes yet because whenever I have a crush on someone, it is like debilitating. It is like I literally am like so stressed about whether they like me back, and I'll like read into. Pardon me. I'll read into like everything. I'll go, they gave me this look on Wednesday. They did that. And you almost feel crazy. This is the thing with anxiety as well. You feel like you're going crazy, but you're not. You're just like ruminating and struggling with all these thoughts that are pinging around in your head and all these worries. It's like a war. That's another thing. It's a monster is absolutely right, but it's also like a war. It's like your brain's fighting against itself almost. Sorry, I'm just going to do my arms. It's like you've got two sides fighting against each other. You've got logic versus like worry, and it just like is like it's not good. But yeah, like even something like having a crush, like bro, I be stressing, yeah, or like friendships, like it can cause so much stress because, and it doesn't help as well because people are confusing, and I'm gonna make a video about that, like in this series at some point. I know I keep saying this every video. I'm like, I'm going to make it about this. I'm going to make it about this. But it's just because there's so many things to talk about. But people are very confusing, and people can be very like nasty and quite backstabby in my experience as well. So it becomes difficult because you're like, when you're an anxious person, you're like, but like this person actually fully could, not like me, and I don't know, and I can't tell that they don't like me. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are very difficult to read, and people get very good at pretending to like people they don't, which I don't understand. Like, please, anyone that pretends to like people they don't like, comment down below why. What's the point? If I don't like someone, I just won't speak to them because it's like I'm obviously not going to go up to them and go, I can't fucking stand you. You piss me off. But I'm gonna, I'm not gonna speak to them. I'm not gonna engage with them. If they talk to me, I'll probably just ignore them or be very, very blunt and vague so they get the hint. Do you know what I mean? And if they ask me directly, do you dislike me? I would say, yes, I do. And I'd give my reasoning. Sorry, I messed with the thing that the computer sound. But yeah, I think that like people need to be more transparent. But that's a whole other video, to be honest with you. But what I was actually going to say is that, yeah, because people are confusing anyway, it makes it worse when you're an anxious person, because you're sat there thinking like, shit, like, is this person like, are they showing signs? And like you just read way too much into stuff that you really don't need to. And it's worse with crushes, I would say, because when you have a crush on someone, you kind of put them on a pedestal, which isn't good. You shouldn't put anyone on a pedestal. But because you put them on a pedestal, you kind of see them as this like great cool person. You're like you kind of alter how you act. Like it's just a natural thing. Like you'll try and be cooler or whatever because try and impress them more. Everyone has their own way of doing it. Like I remember like in school, like I'd always just try and be like extra funny if I fancied a girl. You know what I mean? Like try a bit harder. Or do the classic bloke thing of like trying to be like a big, strong, tough guy or whatever. Obviously, I don't do that now. Well, maybe I am like I try to be funnier to somebody that I fancy, but I also just think I am quite funny anyway. So I don't. Sorry. Aura. Can't believe I just said that. This is so brilliant, man. I love this. I love doing this. I don't care if no one even sees this, man. Like this is so fun. I wish I'd started doing this younger. Actually, no, I don't, because I probably would have said some like stupid shit. Not to call myself stupid when I was younger, but like, you're younger, you're less mature, you don't know what you're saying, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, anxiety affects like everything, like every relationship. Like I've even had like worries about like, what if my parents don't like me? How like silly is that? Like not to call myself stupid, because I don't believe in negative self-talk. And again, I'll make a video on that. But like, why? Why would I think that my parents don't like me? That makes no sense whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? It's like anxiety has you doubting everyone. It has you doubting everything. It has you doubting yourself. It has you doing all kinds of mental gymnastics in your brain. So I'm just looking behind me and you can see like my bed's a mess. That's embarrassing. Embarrassing. Sorry. What are we saying for time? Because this is, okay, nearly 22 minutes. Yeah, that seems about right. 22 with a 2.2. Just came back from a long hiatus. I don't know why I'm going like that. Anyway, I look like Harry Potter. Anxiety is just awful, basically. The TLDR is that anxiety sucks and that, there is treatment for it, thankfully. There's no cure. I have fully accepted that I will be an anxious person my whole life. That's okay. I don't, oh well. I accept that I've also wasted a lot of time worried about stuff that really didn't matter. And, it's that thing as well. You kind of go against the mindset where it's like, do I have control over it? No. Oh, well, it's out of my control. Why am I worried? Do I have control over it? Yes. Okay, well, let me try and, do the right thing. And if that doesn't work, then, oh, well, like, at least I tried. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of attitude that you need. But yeah, it's very difficult. It is very difficult. And, anxiety is just awful. It truly is just the worst. And I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. And a lot of, it's a sad truth, isn't it, really, where a lot of bad people, they don't have empathy, let alone anxiety. So because of that, they kind of are more happy than you. And that can almost be like, oh, that sucks. Like that, these people doing terrible things are actually probably more happy than me in life. But at the same time, only God can judge us, and God is definitely judging bad people, I can tell you that for free. But anyway, I hope everyone has enjoyed today's video. Please do like, do subscribe, do comment, let me know what you thought. I really enjoy doing these, and I'm aiming to do 2 videos a week, one rapping, one not rapping, but that might be a bit come and go. I'll always do these ones. The rapping ones will be a bit more come and go, because obviously your boy has only... I've written bars for like a long time, but there's only like recently would I really be like keen to show them off. There's a lot of crap. I'll be honest. I was looking back at some of my old ones and they were not good at all. But then you got to start somewhere. But anyway, guys, please do take care of yourselves and all that malarkey. And I hope everyone's doing well. And this video is going to take fucking ages to upload because it is quite long. But yeah, I just thought I'd share my thoughts on the horrors of anxiety. But anyway, take care, big love, and enjoy the rest of your day or the rest of your week or month or life. Just enjoy the rest of your life, yeah. Take care.